Miles Tails Prower. You might know this two-tailed fox from the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. He's Sonic's best friend and has helped him on many adventures. A widely recognizable video game character for sure, but to me, he's something much, much more. And hi everyone, my name is Stormi the Folf. And if you've been following my channel for a while, you probably know I have, quite the obsession with this two-tailed foxo. He's one of my favorite video game characters for many reasons, some of which might surprise you. But to understand why, we gotta go back to the past, to play some Sonic games that didn't suck, but... Why do I do this? I grew up playing the original 16-bit Sonic the Hedgehog games. Sonic was like one of the best bits of my childhood, the pinnacle of my entertainment at the time. Anyway, one of my first video games growing up was Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which was Tails' first debut into the series. At the time, I didn't pay much attention to Tails because although he was super heckin' adorable, he pretty much controlled the same as Sonic. However, once I discovered the animated Sonic series and Sonic 3, my opinion changed pretty quickly. My first time playing Sonic 3, I curiously picked Tails. I assumed he'd play exactly the same as Sonic in the previous game, but when I figured out you could heckin' fly through the stages, I was like, whoa, this is heckin' awesome. I always thought it was so neat how he could fix things, fly Sonic around, and as I got older, I began to realize from a personality standpoint, I relate to him quite a bit. Like in Sonic X, he's timid, shy, loves to take things apart, pretty tech-savvy, and in AOSTH, he can apparently play piano as well. I'm all of those things. I'm no master engineer or pilot though, plus planes kinda scare me. Just a little bit. But from that point on, I became heavily invested in this orange/yellow foxo. Later in life, sometime in middle school, we had to paint 3 of our favorite characters from a movie, a cartoon, anime, video game, whatever. I actually had a few friends in art class and I immediately suggested we paint Team Sonic. I wasn't expecting them to agree with me, but to my surprise, they thought it was an awesome idea. And I was like, yes! We get to draw 3 of my favorite video game characters. So I sketched out Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. Everyone else did the painting because apparently I am god-awful with anything involving brushes and acrylics. I find painting to be very difficult for some reason. I don't know how people do it. It's like an art I cannot understand. I was so proud of my Tails sketch that I carried it with me from class to class everywhere in school. I genuinely do not know why I did this. I didn't have a lot of self-confidence or many friends, and this was one of those things that just made me feel like I was maybe good at something. Or maybe it's because I wanted Tails collectibles really badly, but I didn't have any. So carrying a large sketch of Tails between classes was the next best idea? Yeah, I'm weird. As I got older, I learned about this amazing thing called role-playing. Yeah, I was into that for a little bit. I learned that I wasn't the only Tails fanatic on this watery planet. There were thousands of us on the Sega forums and the Tails archive boards back in the day. Slowly but surely, I started making friends with other Tails fans. One of those friends I still talk to on a regular basis, going on, 15 years now? Has it really been that long? But back then, we do text-based role-playing back and forth on the message boards, usually involving shenanigans with Tails, our own Tails OCs, Sonic, and occasionally Eggman himself. We'd write our own stories, make up our own characters, and stay up all night, especially during the summer. Looking back at it now, I kinda cringe, since our stories were pretty ridiculous, but to me, what's important was we had a lot of fun. It was all worth it in the end, especially knowing I made lifelong friends in the process. Sometime in high school, I also made friends with a Tails fan who loved building computers just like I did. I don't know what it is about Tails nerds, but we love anything having to do with computers and electronics. And I don't exactly remember when. It may have been around my birthday, but he wanted to send me a certain present. It's something I've kept with me after all these years, and that, my guys, was my very first Tails plush. I can't say. It wasn't exactly this plush in particular. This is the same one that I got back in 2005. He's in the closet. I don't touch that plush for anything because it's about to fall apart and it looks terrible. This is basically the same plush, except this one's like a lot newer. And he's so cute and snuggleable. My face just lit up with joy and excitement when I opened up that box. I could not contain myself. After opening up that package, making sure no one was around, I huggle squeezed the heck out of that plush. A feeling of warmth and happiness just enveloped me. It was therapeutic. And of course, Tails is super heckin' adorable. That's like a proven scientific fact, I'm sure. I know Tails isn't real, but it just made me feel so happy to finally have a Tails plush. I hit some tough moments throughout high school, and I often didn't have any friends, and I just had no one to talk to. So I talked to this inanimate object thing. I can't grab it. I have puffy paws. It makes things very difficult. It's okay to talk to something that's not real. It's okay to talk to inanimate objects. There were also times where I just had no internet at home, so this little guy kept me company when things were rough. If I was really upset, I would just hug him continuously until I calmed down. He was, and he still is, a coping mechanism for me. For example, in my last live stream, as I was struggling to answer some questions, I was talking about Tails, and the second I held onto my Tails plush, I calmed down quite a bit. I kept my composure. It was almost like he was talking to me telepathically, and he said, "You got this, Stormi." I think coping mechanisms like these are more common than most people realize. Some people might point and joke and laugh, but everyone has a certain coping mechanism that helps them get through life when things are rough. Sometimes all it takes is hugging a plushie of your favorite video game character to de-stress. Some people might point and laugh and make jokes, but there are certainly far worse ways to cope with stress, some of which could make your stress worse. Strengthening my love for this fox, Tails' origin story just helps me further understand my emotional connection with them. Growing up, Tails was bullied for having two tails, and that just resonates with me. Granted, I don't have two tails, but I was bullied for my teeth, and I was always afraid to talk as a result. I just didn't want people seeing my teeth, because every time I even opened my mouth to say something, someone had to point it out, make all kinds of jokes, and then the class would just erupt with laughter, and that's why I never talked that much. Foxes tend to have one tail, most people tend to have their teeth. In school, I sometimes felt so alone to the point I just let people make fun of me so I'd at least have someone to talk to, even if it wasn't a pleasant conversation. We're both made fun of because we're different. It destroyed my confidence and it just made me feel really depressed. When Tails met Sonic, he told him that Tails has something special, an ability others wish they had, and that was using his two tails to fly around. They eventually became best friends, and Tails became confident in himself. Seeing Tails help Sonic throughout the series empowered me. I looked up to him and admired him. A fictional character, people. A fictional video game character. That's not a bad thing, Stormi! Oh, but if Tails met Sonic, then who is quote-unquote my Sonic? Why, the furry community, of course, but that's another tale for another day. Once I got involved in the furry fandom, I began working on my first persona, Stormi. Take a look at this early sketch. Doesn't he look a little familiar? Tails inspired the fox side of Stormi, and those blue swirls? Inspired by Sonic and the Dreamcast. Today I have an ever-growing collection of Tails figurines and plushies that I probably just knocked over. But yeah, my Tails plushies, Tails figurines, and more Tails plushies that I knocked over. Ripperoni. But yeah, I have all these Tails plushies and figurines because y'all keep sending them to me. Not that I'm complaining, of course. I always want more Tails collectibles. I heckin' love it, and I've got the entirety of the Tails theme memorized, word for word, note for note. Both of them. I think they both have the same lyrics, but different melodies. Yeah. Tails has inspired me more than any other fictional character out there. A piece of intellectual property designed to make money paved the way to who I am today. But I know I'm not alone in this. Many people are inspired by Sonic or All Might. So who inspires you? Let me know in the comments. And maybe someday Tails gets his own game again. He hasn't had his own release since Tails Adventure. Sonic Team, if you're watching this, you need to give us more Tails. Please, Please, I can dream at least, but please. I just know that if it weren't for Tails, there is no telling where I'd be today. This video would not exist, this channel wouldn't exist, Stormi certainly wouldn't exist, and I would have never found Treble. Without both the community and Tails have gotten me through some very difficult times in my life, I dread to think where I might be today without them. So Tails, thank you for being there for me. With all that being said, I really hope y'all enjoyed this video, and remember, it's 100% okay to hug plushies of your favorite characters, especially when you're upset, or just whenever really, just make sure the boss isn't looking. If this video helped you, definitely give it a like, let me know your thoughts in the comments, subscribe, and share it with all your other furry friendos and Tails fans. Anyway, I'll see yous all next time. Bye bye!